How are you, buddy?
Hi, Rob.
Good, man. Good to see you.
Hey, first off, Rob, thanks so much. I know that I don't say this often, but that donation that you made on behalf of Atlantic Records, providing the t-shirts for Walk MS for Team Jillian. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
I have multiple sclerosis, and every year we do Walk MS, and Atlantic purchased our Team Jillian shirts this year.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And
Yeah,
we were
so
told that
great.
came out of Matchbox 20's budget. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah. Apparently, though, they just take everything out of our budget. It's really weird.
Well, yeah, dude, you look good, man. How are you?
I'm here, man. I'm sticking it out. I'm ready to re-enter the living world.
Right. Last time we talked, where were you? Do you live in the country somewhere or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, kind of. I'm like an hour outside of the city in New York.
Okay. So lots of green grass, lots of fresh air, trees.
Yeah, it's like horse country up here. It's only like 45 minutes away, but it feels like a whole nother world.
Do you ride?
No.
No. Does your wife
I don't
ride?
trust anything with four legs that's bigger than me.
That's a good point, man. Horses can be intimidating sometimes.
They are.
Rode
No,
a
they're so
horse-
pretty. I mean, there's so many horses all around here. There's a
Yeah.
little farm right across the road that has like goats that just like stand on top of the little houses, you know?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Full on goating. Hold on. What
Have
the
you
hell's
done
happening?
the
Sorry.
have you done goat yoga?
No, come on. That's some LA stuff. That's some. You guys are into that. That's not my thing.
Oh God, I'm so sorry I asked. I was just planning to do some goat yoga this afternoon. Now I'm out of it.
No,
So
I
listen-
am. I'm like I think I have like the 1930s Jack LaLanne health, regimen. I'm just like,
Yeah.
lift some weights, do some cardio, try not to eat too much, and then booze at 6.
Do some push-ups. We'll be fine. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
totally.
it. Richard Simmons type stuff. So as I look down the list here, man, yeah, it has been a minute since we talked to you. It's been a minute since you guys have been on the road and everything. 2 shows. We'll have tickets for them today as well. Hollywood Bowl, May 22nd. 5 Point, May 28th. They're on sale now. Matchbox 20 doing shows. But the new song, Wild Dogs, Running in a Slow Dream, we just checked that out. That's really good, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks. Yeah, we're really happy with the whole record.
So how many songs on the record? How many can we look forward to?
12 songs.
Good.
It's definitely clear that we are kids who grew up in the 80s.
I love
There's
that.
a lot of 80s all over this record.
The 80s were such a great time. Like when we were talking about Jill's MS Walk a second ago, I wore a tracksuit like right from the 80s.
Yeah.
Dude, I felt so good in it. That nostalgia, it brought me back. I didn't wear tracksuits in the 80s. Who cares? But it brought me right back to growing up in the 80s and it felt good.
I wanted a pair of parachute pants so badly, right? That when my mom finally took me and we went to the store, they only had one pair left and it was like a size too small and I didn't care and I bought them. So then I come into school the next day wearing like skin tight parachute pants I can barely move in, thinking that I was really cool. And then they ripped like day one.
God, I was so into, we called them hammer pants. Remember the hammer pants?
Oh yeah. The big silk low crotch pants.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
cannot tell you how bad I wish I was born in the time where those were cool to wear.
They're always cool.
It's kind of funny what we got away with. I just think that like in the 80s, there was such a genuine sense of optimism about everything, that it kind of like, and what's even funnier is I remember like being in the 80s and clocking like the people in the 70s and making fun of their clothes.
Yeah.
While we're wearing like day glow jumpers and we're just like, can you believe the pants they were wearing?
Right. We got like every color of the rainbow we're wearing, What was that jacket we all wore? It was
Members only.
Members only.
Yeah, man. Oh, that was the best.
Oh,
Now,
yeah,
now if you see a members only jacket, it just looks like the preferred jacket of pedophiles across America.
So listen, Matchbox 20, new music. The album's called Where the Light Goes. Wild Dogs Running a Slow Dream. Who's your Wild Dogs? We listen to the song. Who's your crew?
It was when I was a kid growing up, I was just I didn't fit in, I was kind of like, I didn't have a group. And then like my other group was just the kind of misfits in the school. They were like all the alt kids that were like smoking cigarettes across from the school and getting into trouble. But they were all like, they were artistic, and they were a little sensitive like I was. And they were much more inclusive of everyone. And so like that became my family. And I think that's how I found my way into, into this world. Like it was musicians with those misfits for me. And now I'm still traveling the world with a group of misfits. And so it just kind of stuck with me.
It's funny. You mentioned you're a sensitive guy and stuff, probably a sensitive heart and probably a little bit emotional guy and stuff. because most people in music have that sensitivity, you know? I was thinking about my 15-year-old son. You've got a 25-year-old son, I think in July, he's 25. How has that sensitive heart helped you throughout your career and your life?
I mean, listen, I think that I've been really fortunate, you know, around to meet a lot of really just interesting people from all different walks of life. And I think just kind of like being open to what that experience brings, you know, like to every time that you can really have a connection with someone who is like a little bit out of your lane and has a different experience in life. I think those things and being open to those, they just make you a better rounded person at the end of it all. And so if you're fortunate like me to be able to go and go to other parts of the world and see how people like live in other parts of the world, it just makes the whole human experience kind of smaller and more connected.
With this tour and playing the music that we all know and love, like 3 a.m. and Bent, when you're out there and you guys are singing those songs, since you've been playing them, since they've been hits for so long, what is it like seeing your audience kind of change and grow with you with those songs still staying the same all these years?
Yeah, it's funny. Like they don't really age, and then we all do. Like, because it's funny, like, there are different groups. Like if you were my age when our first record came out, you're almost 80 now. and you've got kids, but we see these kids and the grandkids coming, over the last almost 30 years. Like we see them bringing them. Like I've seen literally every other summer watching these people's kids grow up until now they're bringing their kids. And we were lucky enough, I think, when we came out in 96, so there was no social media. We were kind of like figuring it out on our own in private, which was nice. But we had to find ways to connect with our fans, like in real time, like, some sort of like analog life, you know what I mean? Where you just had to see them and go and talk to them after shows and get to know them. So I think we've had a really good, close relationship with a lot of our fan base all over the country.
That's a smart way of looking at it. I guess you're right. You were meeting and greeting and saying hi to people in a totally different way than kids, interact with celebrities today. It's so wild to think that.
Yeah, I mean, we came out in a time when we literally said the phrase, "Do you think we need a website?" And and it's been interesting because that's a time my buddy is a photographer in LA, Randall Slave, and he has a book, and it's called the last good time. Yeah. He talks about this period of 90s where it was the last good time, because the only reason he had pictures is because he had a camera. He was a photographer, and we got to, like, every time we'd put out a record, it was a new thing. Like it was in, like there were, everything you remember, like in the late 90s when it was just like dual disc CDs and people trying different technologies with CDs. And then, we went into every time that we put out a record, there's a new social media that's kind of driving everything. And every time you do this, there's a new technology that's driving everything. I mean, when you started out, CDs were like valuable. Like, you'd go to a record label or you go to like a radio station and they give you a stack of free CDs. Yeah. And you felt like that was gold in your hand, Well,
I mean, that was the prize we'd give out. We're like, hey, call in, Matchbox 20's get a brand new album, whatever. You get their CD, and people come pick it up at the station. They were excited about that. It had value. You're right.
Yeah, I remember once I went. I won one of those radio. It was like a 11th caller, and you just went down and got to pick out of a box, what you wanted to get out of what they had. And I got a cassette.
Yeah.
Of Cameo. Remember that had Word Up on it?
Word Up.
Yeah. Man. Ow.
That's going back, right? Oh my gosh. So funny. I remember calling into radio stations and I would win the countdown. Like in the old days, like Casey Kasem, Rick Dees and stuff like that. The countdown show was done a week in advance and they pressed it to vinyl and then they didn't need it. So they'd give it away. And I'd win a Casey Kasem countdown show or something, all 4 records. It was so cool. God, I did it every weekend. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a connection there too. I think there's something great about that local connection, and also because we didn't have as much ways that we communicate with each other. We didn't have ways that we could experience music that we love. You had your radio station, and if you had cable, you had MTV, and then later on VH1, and that was like how you got all your information. That's how you got your news, and that's how you got everything pop culture kind of fed to you through these 3 holes.
104.3 MYfm. It is Valentine in the morning. Rob Thomas, Matchbox 20. He's going to say he hasn't had any work done, but he looks really good. I mean, like, dude, you look really good.
Well, there's definitely no work here. Like this is, I earned every one of these things going on here.
See, I don't
there's
see
no
'em.
things going on.
Yeah, there's no things. Do you have a filter turned on?
No, look, it's all in there.
God, you look really
You're
good.
like Paul Rudd. You just don't age. You just
That's
look
high
the
praise.
same.
High praise.
You're right. He's Paul Rudd.
So I'm just thinking from your perspective as an artist, through all this time, does your motivations as an artist change? Like, why do music now? What gets you out of bed in the morning?
It's the same thing. I mean, I still am trying to search for that song.
Really?
You know, like I think like every time I finish a record, I have like a little period where I'm not writing. I'm just kind of like just go off. And that's when I'm like playing video games or, you know what I mean? Just like, just trying to be. And then I hear something on the radio that just really inspires me. And I'm just like, oh, I want to start writing again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just like, you're compelled. You have songs inside of you and you have to get them out or else they feel like they just build up and they build up and they build up. So that's why, like, you know, before we even knew that we were going to do a Matchbox 20 record, at the time we were just going to tour and put out a couple songs. And we had kind of come to terms with it. We weren't going to make any more full records. Like we thought our last one was going to be our last one. And so I was already like loaded up with a solo record that I was going to put out as soon as this tour was over. And so some of those songs wound up on here and some of the songs that Paul was doing wound up on.
Oh, okay.
So we were, it's like writing is something that just happens all the time. And then it's like, okay, when it's time to put out a record, a solo record or a Matchbox record or work with somebody else, you just kind of go through what you've been writing and see what you like.
I mean, that's how you know you're doing the thing you're supposed to be doing your whole life, you know? If you
I mean, you know, the fortunate thing is like to be at a level where it's not, I don't have to make decisions dependent on finance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can make the music that I want to make and I can make decisions that I want to make in my career that are just based on, you know, being true to the music and, you know, and my family now too, you know, things that work in my life and for Matchbox, things that work in all of our lives. So that's a true kind of autonomy that you're really fortunate to have, you know? And so now it's just nice not to ever feel like you might've made a decision that you wouldn't have otherwise made to make a buck.
I love that.
It's fascinating to me to say that you're still searching for the song. Let's say you don't find it. Looking
I hope
back,
I never do.
Yeah, right. Because then it's all over.
Yeah.
Looking back.
I mean, I think it's more, you know, whatever satisfied me at 24 didn't satisfy me at 34 and didn't satisfy me at 44. And now in my 50s, there's a different itch that I'm scratching, you know, there's different things that I want to say because I'm the person I'm speaking about myself is a completely wholly different person than I was 10 years ago. So like, I'm just chasing something different each time. And, and you know, it's funny because it'll happen the same way. Like, you know, when you're in your 30s, all you talk about is just how stupid you were in your 20s, right? And then your 40s, you're like, oh, my 30s, I didn't know anything. And I'm still like looking back going, man, I can't believe what an idiot I was in my 40s. But now I've got it
what
together.
I'm doing. Now I got to figure it out. It's so funny. I was going to get to like, you know, is there one song that you would pick that would stand out? But I'm not even sure there is one. Because as you say, like looking back at my 20s, my 30s and whatever and stuff, I'm kind of feeling the same way, like maybe you do about your art, but I'll look back at radio shows I did 10 years ago and we'll find old audio and I'll play it back and I'm like, oh my God, why did anybody listen to that guy? You know, what was I doing then?
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I look back at pictures or like look at, you know, at tours and I'm just like, and then, you know, you look back, you're like, oh, did I do enough with that time? You know, like that's the thing too, is you want to be like, oh, did I make all those right? Was there a sliding door that I missed? You know, like, and hopefully one of the things as you get older is that you spend less time in that space, right? Because that's an unfulfilling space, no matter how you look at it. I think trying to wring out the past for something else that might have happened is going to be a dead end every time. Yeah,
because it's gone. Do you do any covers at your shows or anything?
Yeah, I mean, we're big covers. You know, like when we were in Australia, I remember we had this mission where every day we'd go to sound check and learn a new Australian cover from like a band from that region in Australia and then play it that night.
Oh, that's cool.
Our favorite one was we did AC/DC, You Shook Me All Night Long in Perth, but just with an ukulele. So it was like in front of like 20,000 people, you know, in this beautiful setting in Perth with just everybody. She was a fast machine. She kept a motor clean. Like it was awesome.
Dude, I'm going to look on YouTube for that. That's fantastic. Listen, I know we're out of time. I know we probably could have talked more about, you know, Rob Thomas and Santana and how I brought you guys together in the bathroom. We talked about that many
Carlos
times
and
in
I,
the past.
we thank God for you every day, Valentine.
Yeah, no, I know it. It was a time where I brought you guys together or something else. Rob, can't wait to see you, man. Pop by the studio when you're in town, okay?
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you guys, as always, for all the love. You guys have been so good.
No worries. Appreciate it, man. Hi to the family.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.